Of a supernatural moment. The problem with Peter was not that he was excited that the divine showed up. The problem with Peter was not that he was overwhelmed and moved because the supernatural was in his midst. The problem with Peter was that he didn't recognize the supremacy of Christ. And church, I want to argue with you today that that is our problem. Our problem is that we have forgotten the supremacy of Christ. It does not matter the name that is on this building. If Jesus ain't in it, it's just a pile of bricks. It does not matter how well your preacher preaches. If she don't know Jesus, she's just filthy rags. It does not matter how many people fill this building. And we are not convinced that Jesus is Son of God, Savior of the world, who died for our sins, was buried in the grave, got up on the third day of all time. We're just a building full of dirt. Jesus makes the difference. Peter got the messaging wrong. Peter got the messaging wrong. He was like, Jesus, it's good for us to be here. Let's make 3 dwellings. But God, the Bible says, then a cloud overshadowed them. And a voice came through the cloud. It was the voice of God. And God said, this is my Son, the beloved. In him I am well pleased. Listen to him. God saw Peter get the messaging wrong. God saw the other disciples on top of this mountain excited and overwhelmed because Moses and Elijah showed up and Jesus was transfigured. God could see that they were going to leave this mountain with the wrong messaging. God says, I'm going to get the final say. This is my Son, the beloved, the one in whom I am well. Please listen to him. I don't care how many words of Moses you memorized. You listen to Jesus. I don't care how many words of Elijah you have memorized. You listen to Jesus. Jesus is my Son. Yes, Moses has done amazing and miraculous things. Yes. Moses is a son, but he's not my son. Elijah has done wonderful and miraculous things. Elijah is a son. He's not my son. And there's a difference when you are a son and my son. And the difference is Jesus is my very image. Jesus is all of me. And when you see Jesus walking around, he is me, but just wrapped up in flesh. Jesus is all of me. Jesus is all of my power. Jesus is all of my character. Jesus is all of my attitude. Jesus is all of me. He is my Son. He is my spitting image. When you've seen him, you've seen me. Moses and Elijah, they're a son. They're just not my son. I don't want you leaving this mountain spreading the words about Moses and Elijah. That's right. You need to leave this mountain spreading the word about Jesus. Yeah. You need to leave this mountain spreading the news about my Son. You need to leave this mountain spreading the news about the beloved one. You need to leave this mountain spreading the news about the one in whom I am well pleased. God disrupts the direction of the conversation and says, this is my Son, the beloved. Listen to him. Yeah. He's not just another healer. He's not just another holy man. He's not just another prophet. He is the prophet of all prophets, the holiest of holy men. The healer of all healers. Listen listen to him. Church, I'm convinced that we're listening to the wrong people. We listen so much to the opinions of people. We got self-made experts, ain't spent a day in nobody's classroom, but show up on somebody's social media, professing to be an expert about something that they just started doing 2 years ago. We listen to our friends who call us up on the telephone. You be like, girl, how you know? Listen, I just know. Don't worry about how I know, I just know. You don't know nothing. You got 2 pieces of information and you filling in the other gaps. Church, we are listening to the wrong people. I'm not saying that you ought not be encouraged or inspired by people in the world. I'm not saying that you ought not be challenged by people in the world. God anoints all kinds of humans to inspire us, encourage us, challenge us. But don't listen to those people more than you listen to Jesus. And you can't know whether or not what they're saying is true if you don't know what Jesus said. God disrupts this holy moment where Jesus has transformed into his pure righteous self, absent of flesh. Moses and Elijah, who had been dead for decades, shows up on this holy mountain. God disrupts that moment and tells the disciples, get your mind right. You listen to Jesus. Well, why should I listen to Jesus? Because he's got something to say. In Matthew chapter 5, Jesus says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Jesus said, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Listen to Jesus so you can get straight what God's will is for your life. Listen to Jesus, who said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Mess around with crystals and sages and potions if you want to, but they won't lead you to eternal life. You need Jesus, who's the Son of God, because he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one sees God except through me. Listen to Jesus, because Jesus is the answer to every question and the solution to every problem. God disrupts a holy moment and says, listen to Jesus. And that's a word that someone needs today. You've been in search